So in a previous video I talked about how in fiction there are a lot of powers that may seem cool to have but in actuality are pretty ass. Then I later realized that there are a lot of powers that would actually be pretty nice to have in real life. Firstly, we have to talk about being a Martian. Now I know this isn't necessarily a power, but they're a race who have multiple powers, so for the sake of the video, we'll say I have the power as being a Martian. Anyways, Martians have a multitude of powers including super strength, flight, telekinesis, telepathy, intangibility, invisibility, and shapeshifting. For most people looking at these powers, you would assume that Martians were probably one of, if not the strongest race in the whole DC universe, and at one point they were. But after the Guardians of Oa realized that their one race had all these powers, they used their psychic abilities to implant the idea it's all Martians' brains that fires their weakness. Which, to be honest, is pretty fucked up, but at the same time somewhat makes sense because all Martians realizing how OP they are may lead to them becoming worse than Viltrumites. But besides all that, we're here to talk about how convenient their powers are. Firstly, their shapeshifting ability changes their entire genetical makeup to fit whatever or whoever they're transforming into, meaning that hypothetically you had this ability and went to, I don't know, commit real life identity theft against a billionaire like Elon Musk, your DNA and his are the exact same now, meaning that no one could tell the difference between you and him. Another ability of the Martians are their telekinesis and telepathy. By them just being born with these two abilities, they are naturally top psychics in their universe just by them existing, with them even having the ability to read minds from across the whole earth. So essentially with these abilities you can become as close to omniscient as one can be with all this information flowing from all over the world into your head. Lastly, Martians have a special move with their telepathy ability known as Mayavana, where they can basically make an infinite Tsukuyomi or forever dream in one's mind and trap them in it forever. So yeah, you being born with Martian DNA will naturally put you at the top of the food chain. The next ability we gotta talk about is the shadow manipulation by DC character Shade. Shade's ability to be able to control darkness/shadows results in different abilities such as shadow energy constructs, teleportation, and his own shadow domain. First, let's break down his teleportation ability. So due to his control over all shadows, Shade can move through his own or other people's shadows to travel insane distances. Having a power like this may be better than teleportation in my opinion, as everything in the sun or a form of light touches has a shadow. So you don't have to worry about ending up in the wrong place or somewhere too far from your intended target because a shadow is bound to be near whatever that said thing or place is. And in the real world sense, you'll be a better transportation service than Uber, being able to take people across the country or even the planet if needed. Another plus of this teleportation aspect is how it can help fight wise, as you can take shelter anywhere when fighting, or can sneak attack when needed from the shadow of your opponent. And if it happens to be nighttime when you're fighting, you're gonna pull up Miami Heat LeBron monster numbers against your op, cause trust me bro, they're not gonna be able to see you coming. Lastly, the shadow domain ability works similar to a domain expansion from JJK, where you can create your own space where everything is complete darkness and you have a 100% hit ratio. And due to it being a space of eternal darkness, if your op turns out to be more than you can handle, you can just leave from there. So overall, this is a W ability. Also, did I forget to mention you could summon monsters or whatever deities in that shadow dimension that you have? Yeah, I know, pretty crazy. Next up, we got an ability from a show that we all grew up watching, airbending from Avatar: The Last Airbender. So from the show Avatar: The Last Airbender Legend of Korra, airbending is one of the 4 elements that a human can manipulate. With the ability to airbend, you can literally do any and everything that's air related. At its basic fundamentals, you can move way faster and agile than any human by using the air to propel all your movements. And due to your control of the air, you can sense any changes in the wind to detect any oncoming threats or be able to contort your body to dodge the next attack. Now in terms of actually using the wind to attack, you have a plethora of options on what you want to do. You can create mini to greatly sized tornadoes or cyclones by causing all air within the area to move in a certain way, or you can create a shockwave by jumping and pressurizing all the air within the area when you come down. But going back to pressurizing air, you can pressure the air to create a sort of air blade where you can slice through almost anything. Airbending also has a lot of deadly techniques as well, like being able to create a cyclone that can suck up all the air in the area or take the air out of someone's lungs, and the most high tier ability in airbending is manipulating the air around you to fly and levitate. So yeah, there are a lot more airbending or sub abilities that I think I could talk about, but it's time for us to move on. The next power we have to talk about is Plastic Man's powers. So Plastic Man's body is extremely malleable, so malleable to the point that he doesn't even exist in a state of either fluid or solid, meaning that he can literally do anything he wants to himself. Pause. But what I mean is that he's sort of like a Looney Tune, the aspect where he can do basically anything. Starting with the basics, Plastic Man can stretch his body limitlessly and can contort himself into basically anything, even at one point being able to contort himself to get inside a human and control them from the inside, acting as a skeleton as you could say. This leads into him being able to shrink himself to 8-man size or being able to become as tall as the Eiffel Tower. Another ability of Plastic Man's is his shapeshifting abilities, with him being able to completely become someone else down to a molecular level, or he can transform into any inanimate object, whether it being a car, boat, or even an airplane. His shapeshifting is so good that he can even change his color to match anything he wants to be, which is actually kinda crazy. Lastly, due to his ability to control his body and state of matter, he's both invulnerable and immortal, with him being able to feel no pain at all. And he was actually able to survive for 3,000 years as only crumbs on the bottom of the seafloor in comic storylines. So passing man's ability, you're sure to live life to the fullest. Our next power we have to talk about is My Hero Academia's Yaoyorozu's quirk of creation. So how this power works is that a person can create any inanimate object that they desire as long as they understand the molecular structure of what they're creating. But your body's nutrients are what manufactures what you desire to create, meaning you have to eat quite a bit to create multiple things back to back. And the more skin you expose, the bigger the object you can create. Now to me personally, I feel as though this ability was meant for a boy to have, as eating and exposing skin seems like a perfect power for a male. Not to say Yaoyorozu didn't go crazy with her quirk, but I think you could get what I mean in regards to like what I'm talking about. Like, don't cancel me guys, please. Anyway, this ability is perfect for so many different people in so many different ways. As for a manufacturer business, being able to spawn different objects can greatly help in speeding up the process of shipping items. And for someone who wants to lose weight but may not be fond of the gym, you can use this ability whilst being productive in their job or providing themselves with necessities they may need. And in the off chance you were to go to the beach with all the skin left open, you could damn near create a car or jet ski to enjoy yourself on. So this power is quite the trip in my opinion. Another ability to talk about that isn't necessarily a power but something exclusive to the race of Saiyans is their full recovery. So Saiyans from Dragon Ball have the ability to come back better than they were previously after having time to recover. So let's say you were to get knocked down in a fight or were shot and were in a coma for 3 days. After waking up, you'll notice that your body has improved by a lot in every area. You might even be able to put on a couple pounds of muscle. I feel as though this ability would be most beneficial for athletes in real life. Cause imagine someone like Derrick Rose came back even more athletic after the ACL injury. Also, the more fatal the injury, the more better the recovery will be. Meaning getting stabbed in the abdomen could lead to you waking up with a Toji build possibly, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. This leads into another ability of the big three anime Naruto Shadows clones. Now I know this ability is pretty stereotypical as everyone has wondered what it's like to have a clone of themselves, but we're already this deep in the video so we might as well keep going. Firstly, having a clone means that you're never alone, which can help in many circumstances, such as when you're trying to go hoop and there's no one to pick you up, you can just gather former clones of yourself. Or let's say you're about to get jumped and you can spawn double the number of ops that are approaching you. Or even when you're in the kitchen trying to cook multiple things and you can chef some crazy shit up. My personal favorite part about Shadow clones is that whatever they learn is imprinted onto you. So realistically, you don't have to go to school anymore as you can send a clone in your place and receive all the lessons that were taught through your clone's memories. So whatever skills you want to learn for a while that you have to put off, you can just send different clones to different areas and learn all of them at once. And lastly, from the people who are like me and there's an introverted who like to sit at home and watch anime all day, you can quite literally enjoy time with just you, yourself, and I. Lastly, another power that'd be insanely overpowered in our daily lives is the ability of alchemy from the Full Metal Alchemist show. Before we go over the actual powers, we have to learn the rules of alchemy. First, nothing can be created from nothing. Second, matter can't be created or destroyed, only transmuted or converted. And lastly, a transmutation circle must be drawn in order for the alchemy to work. So now that we've gone over the rules, alchemy is a type of magical science that can reshape matter. With this ability, you can convert any inanimate matter into something equal to it. For example, maybe able to change a metal spoon into a knife with the same weight and mass of the metal spoon. This ability of conversion can revolutionize humanity in many different ways. One way is being able to fix repairs of practically anything. Another way is being able to increase manufacturing by 1,000%, as products don't have to go through the same long process of being able to be made into something. In my personal opinion, I feel as though the attribute of light alchemy will be used for the most is war, as tanks, missiles, and any other weapon you can think of will be able to be constructed or deconstructed as a moment's notice. Lastly, the absolute taboo of alchemy is reviving the dead, because it's impossible to offer something of equal value to bring someone back. This action is what led to the story of our main characters, the Elric brothers in the show, with them trying to bring their mother back from the dead, which resulted in the older brother Edward losing his arm and the younger brother Alphonse losing his body, having a soul attached to the suit of armor. So yeah, it's a high risk, high reward type of power. Anyways, y'all, I guess that's the end of the video for real. I decided I just need to upload at least something before the new year, so hope y'all fuck with this one. I think this might be the one that could end up helping me get monetized, hopefully, for end 2024. Who knows? Only God does. Anyway, y'all, appreciate y'all for watching this, and I'll catch you on the next one.